today?
Yeah, definitely. Welcome to the show, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Welcome to RAF Lakenheath, United States Air Force in Europe base. That's what the letter E stands for, Europe. Welcome to the show. My name's Nikos. I'm your cameraman, historian, and commentator, just waiting potentially for this C130, but you never know. It's looking good. I thought I heard something running on it. So the plan today, as you may have seen in the chat room, is that potentially this is going to be a very short stream, but we're going to see what we can catch in an hour and a half. We don't get any movements in that time, as it with the exception of this, of course. Anything after this, if we can catch anything between now and 12:30, then we'll keep going. So we'll give it an hour and a half. The wind is a little bit sharp, definitely sharper than a prawn cocktail wearing a suit. I know, a prawn cocktail crisp. They're quite sharp, aren't they? With extra vinegar. So we've got a nice C130. You may see the tail code RS. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I've seen that. No, it's on the C130. So what we're going to do is, in the meantime, we'll do a Q&A live on the show, and also we'll go through some of the education. I could go through the whole folder with you. I'll see what's on there that I can do. We'll have a good time. So let's hope we can. We've got a chance to see this C130 go out. So yeah, you may see the markings Romeo Sierra RS or Ramstein Air Base in Germany. It is the HQ for the 3rd Air Force and the HQ for the United States Air Force in Europe, pronounced USAF, and also the United States Air Force in Africa as well. We're hoping this will take off. We're hoping. Anything could happen. So welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. So I hope you've got your questions ready. I'll scroll through. In the meantime, just oh, here we go. Look, yeah, there you go. Engine 3. I wonder if it's like 3, 4, 2, 1. We can have a look in a minute. There's our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. There's 4. Go, and then finally engine 1. That's the sequence, a standard engine start sequence for a C130. It is indeed free, engine 3421. If you want to know what I'm talking about, engine numbers. Okay, so you start literally from left to right, and they're numbered. Even on the F-15, for example, engine 1 is the one on the left, engine 2 is on the right. If it had 3 engines, it would just literally go 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 if you got 6, and 7 and 8 if you're a B-52. So the 2 outer engines from left to right is engine 1 and engine 4. The inner ones from left to right is engine 2 and 3. Hope that made sense. So it's usually initiated by the pilot or flight engineer once external power on the APU is connected. Engine 3 is started first, and what this does, similar to the Lancaster indeed back in the days, and that's to pressurize the hydraulic system for braking. All right, so that's why even, let's say, I remember coming across the story about the Vickers Wellington learning about having icing on one of the engines. Carburetor icing was quite a serious thing. There is a cure for it. A remedy is to bring it down below 10,000 feet, but that would power the heating system, for example. So each engine can actually, I'm not saying this one, but there are occasions where some engines actually power another instrument or facility. So yeah, it's the same as the Hercules 3421, and sorry, same as the Lancaster 3421. Yeah, the wind's calmer today, but it's a lot, seems to be a lot sharper today. So welcome to the show. So, minimum, we will have 1 departure. Dear. It's a bit of a scream, that, wasn't it? This is the J variant, the C130J, a classic. First flight of the C130J was on the 5th of April 1996, although the legacy of the Lockheed C130 goes back way, a few more decades previous. Introduced in December of 1956. First flight of the C-130s were August 23rd, 1954, which is absolutely amazing. They made these in various variants, such as the EC. What's it? Oh, I forgot the name of it. Is it something Compass? Oh, I forgot the word. I forgot the. It's like an EC 130. Compass Call. That was it. Compass Call. MC 130 as we get at Mildenhall, the RC 130, you've got the AC 130, WC 130, there's even the Lockheed L100 Hercules as well. But ultimately, this is the mega version, the 6-bladed version. The older versions have 4 blades, but there have been occasions where like an E or a H has been converted engine wise to have a 6-blade engine. Standard crew of 3, 2 pilots and 1 loadmaster, minimum crew. 92 passengers it can take, 64 airborne troops, It can take these 6 463 litre pallets as well. It weighs 75,562 pounds. That's about 34,274 kilos. Got a wingspan of 132 feet and 7 inches. That's 40.41 meters. Length at 97 feet and 9 inches. Powered by 4 Rolls-Royce AE 2100 D3 turboprop engines. They produce 4,637 shaft horsepower each, with of course the 6-bladed Doughty R391 propellers. They are composite, they're not metal, they're fully feathering as well, and they're reversible pitch as well, so they do have like almost like gears. Got a max speed of 417 miles per hour. That's Mach 0.59 at 22,000 feet as well. Got a service ceiling at 28,000 feet with considerable payload at 42,000 pounds. Absolute ceiling that it can do has 40,386 feet. Now, there is a difference between service ceiling and absolute ceiling. That I will need to do your diagram. there we go. A lovely departure there. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Hope we're all good and well. So we're going to have a bit of a Q&A for the next hour, and that should see us done. How we doing, ladies and teddy bears? Bit windswept, got the Rick Astley going on here. It's all good, and hope we're all well, ladies and teddy bears. My name's Nikos. I'm your cameraman, historian and commentator. So we're going to do some education, as it just feels like this, possibly, potentially, but one can only wait. That's the ethos that we've always said, just turn up and hope for the best. So what we'll do, Ted and I are going to just give you an hour of education, an hour of Q&A. We'll go through a few things. If you've got any questions, let us know in the comments. So questions related to how aircraft work. Some of them I haven't got here. I'll have to go and get them for you. A bit of history on Lakenheath, some of the squadrons that you may want to know about their history, how they started out, what was here, why is it called Royal Air Force when there's United States Air Force here, etc, etc. Anything like that, let us know. So history, avionics, aircraft, just fire away. I'm just going to go on the show now, see how we're all doing. Hope we're well. Thanks a lot, everyone, for tuning in. So Captain A, I can see one right here. So question from Captain A, nice one. But Nikos, where is your favourite place to stream from? That is a classic question. I do like that question. You know, my question and sorry, my answer to that question is simply this: I love the variety of going to lots of places, which is why I like to mix it up a little bit. And but there is, I mean, people go, is Lakenheath exciting, or Coningsby, that kind of Bryce Norton? Because let's face it, everyone's, you know, variety, spice of life, and everyone likes different things. There are people that don't like military, they prefer, or not like, but prefer civilian aircraft. But there are fans out there that love Mildenhall, they love the variety. However, what I will tell you is that two things. So one, I love going to the mall because of the variety. But secondly, most of all, Coningsby is somewhere where I just feel all warm and, you know, and happy, because that is where Ted started. That is where Ted got named from, which is why I like going there. So that you know, that is something that always appeals to me in that way. So that's why I'll always say Coningsby if I had to just pick one and had to, you know, held with you know, salmon being waved at me, then yeah, it will have to be there. But thank you for your question there. So yeah, a big thank you for that. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look, see if you got any others. Good question. Let's have a look. We got no, they are different. So Alex Blackcat has asked question: do all aircraft take the same fuel? No, they don't take exactly the same fuel. They can, in fact, they are working on like a biofuel. I think the Royal Air Force and the I believe they've tried out some new fuel. The older aircraft, there's a bit of a concern about the older aircraft, because of course they're introducing all these like more like a green or friendly, a friendlier fuel. And I believe, if I remember correctly, coming across this, some of the historical aircraft will probably either, well, they won't be able to run on this new fuel because they like good old octane 100, which isn't totally the case now. They are like, you got JP8, you got aviation fuel, avgas, there are different types. But what I will tell you is some of the historic aircraft may have to get converted in the future. I'm not saying now, don't know when, but if they are going to convert to this sort of green energy fuel, then I think there may be a problem with some of the historic aircraft. So that's a good question. Oh, which I nearly deleted by accident. Oh, Alex Raven. Okay, right. This is a really good question. So so Alex Raven has asked. Let's just let me read your words. with RAPCON at Lakenheath, does Mildenhall Tower have to ask permission before sending any aircraft up? Right, I'm going to rewind this a little bit because there was an incident, not an incident, a scenario, okay? There was a C-17 last night that made the long flight of, hang on, that made the long journey of flying from here to Mildenhall. All right, now there were delays. Why? Because there wasn't a flight plan submitted. I mean, that is how it all works. You need a flight plan. I've always said this, military aircraft can't just fly wherever they want to. They need a flight plan. It has to have a flight plan. You got no flight plan, whether you're going to neighbouring Mildenhall, you're talking to the same tower, you need a flight plan. And, you know, so there's paperwork. It really is. You need to submit a flight plan. It needs to be accepted. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it's declined for whatever reason, there could be something going on between that. But it's amazing, isn't it? You know, two neighbouring, because they do run on the same CMATs. They are within, so there's a military aircraft traffic zone at each airport or aerodrome with 5 miles, but they're so close to, in fact, they're only 5 miles apart. So their MATs, as it's the acronym, overlap each other. So they have what's called CMATs. For those who don't know, RAPCON, Radar Approach Control, they are Lakenheath Tower, and they actually manage both Mildenhall and Lakenheath. Mildenhall is 24 hours. With CMATs and been combined and close together, Lakenheath Tower actually runs both. So do they need permission? There has to be a flight plan. So that has to be accepted. So without your flight plan, you couldn't even do it anyway. So the answer is yes, you will need to do it, but in the actual procedural way, you'll need to submit a flight plan. With regards to like ground runs, again, it has to be done and confirmed. There are the Mildenhall's Tower is manned for those types for doing like an engine run. You can't even have your engines running without permission from Tower anyway. But yes, so everything has to be run with regards to flights, but with engine runs and sort of operational talk is done at Mildenhall, but the actual flying part, the actual aerospace, is done here at Lakenheath. So yes, but you also need to submit a flight plan as well. You can't just take off anyway, so you'll need to do that. Right, let's have a look if we got that. Let's have a look if you got any other. So yeah, it's quite cool. We'll go through some of the I got a question here from Alex Beach. Question, Nikos, favourite plane of World War II era and favourite plane now? I'll tell you what, I do actually have a few, but those that tune in regularly know that I love the P-47 Thunderbolt, which is just over here. I do love the jug, the P-47, very tasty, very nice. And something that is an aircraft that is you know, a legend with the 48th Fighter group, as they were called then. It is an absolute iconic aircraft for the 48th, and there are 3 squadrons that were using this in World War II, literally from 44 to May 1945, using this in combat. An absolute legend. I do love it. Bit of a tank, similar to the Hawker Typhoon in regards to its role, but this is possibly, yeah, my fave. I know, I do love it. It's just great. It's just awesome. It's like people love the A-10. It's not exactly a fighter jet, but it has its purpose. It saved many troops on the ground with close air support, and so did this. Hence the name Thunderbolt. They named it. So this was for me, I believe this to be the innovator for close air support. That's my opinion. It's the way it was serving with the 9th Air Force, with the 48th, the amount of troops this saved. So as the army on the ground, especially the 9th Army that were on the ground, gaining back the ground, taking back France, and gaining ground into Germany, but that pursuit into Germany would rely on these, because at the end of the day these were used almost like an observatory as well, an observatory role to scout and look out for any tanks, because they were an issue. They could be ambushed by tanks, and that would be yeah, that would be emotional. So you send these out. They could be armed reconnaissance or a non-armed, but certainly they would do close air support for the troops on the ground, and that was the sole purpose of the 9th Army. So, favourite aircraft now? Well, when I was a youngster, when I was a wee boy, it was the Tornado. Without shadow of a doubt. Love the thing, love the shape. It's a very good looking aircraft, but today Ted's kind of convinced me. For Ted's here as well. We all know what Ted's favourite aeroplane is, and that is indeed the Typhoon, because Ted got a flight in it. In fact, he's had many flights in the Typhoon. He's flown for King and Country. Yeah, he has. He's flown in the CR formation over Buckingham Palace. He's done a few bits and pieces, hasn't he, Ted? He's flown. He loves the Chinook. He's even fired rounds. But yeah, I think helicopters. He does love the Chinook, though. I know. Barry nearly fell off there. But yes, that's mine. And what's yours? Let me know as well. And let me know when you ask a question. Put in if it's possible with the question. Let me know yours. So you've asked me, you know, let me know. I'd like to know what yours are as well. So Captain A, where's your favourite? Where's your favourite as well? Let's get in there. And apologies if I miss your question, because the way it scrolls. So I'm really sorry about that if I miss your question. Let's have a look what else I can find. So, Alex Blackcat. How do aircrafts get their names? Right, this is a very, very good question. Okay, so we touched on this at Coningsby. Right, so the Eurofighter project, the Eurofighter first flight in 1994, right? But it wasn't called a Typhoon then, all right? Now, it was actually named Typhoon at Farnborough Air Show in September of 1998, and the reason for calling it a Typhoon is because they kept the theme. If we roll back to the Second World War, we have a Hawker Typhoon, we have the Hawker Tempest. There was even a Tornado, right? There was even one. In fact, I'll go and get my book. Give me a sec. Let me go. Let's have a quick look at the cat book. What I can do is actually, and I'll promote it as well, is the book that I've got here, because you know I love me books. Hang on. Let's have a look. What we've got there. Let's have a quick look while we're chatting. I can show you, because I haven't got all the models of these. I haven't got a Hawker Typhoon, but I do have this amazing book. Oh gosh, you didn't want a close up of me like that. Goodness me. Wow. This book, by the way, really recommended. It's by David Munday, the British aircraft of World War II. It is amazing. So for those who don't know what any of these aircraft look like, I may be able to go, I mean, look at this, the Hawker Tempest, beautiful. And the Hawker Typhoon next to it. There you go. And then there's the Tempest. I mean, just to give you an idea. But look, and just quickly, I know I'm going to go on a tangent like I normally do. Look at the nose. I mean, look at that one. Amazing, isn't it? Look at it. But you know, I was just going to show you inline engines. I'm not saying this is, but I'm not saying yes or no, by the way, against piston. If I can show you an example. I'm not saying piston and inline here. That's not what I was going to get at. I was going to get at this. Yeah, actually I can show you here. Hang on, this is better. This is a better one. Pros and cons. And I've gone on a tangent again, haven't I? I'm talking about names, but just really quickly, look at the inline engine, the Rolls-Royce engine here, the Rolls-Royce Merlin on that. Look how slimline, but they're not, right, so these are liquid cooled, okay? But benefits of this is that it's a lot more aerodynamic. Look at the nose, nice and streamlined, but it's liquid cooled. Why is that a problem? I'll show you in a moment. So not so aerodynamic, but it has a lot of power. Just to give you a difference, 27 litre engine, 46. It's in a different, look at the size of it. These are to scale. Amazing. Now I know I've gone on a tangent and I do apologise. These are air-cooled. Radial piston engines, air-cooled. Air-cooled is great because you can lose all your pistons. It's cooled down with the air as, oh gosh, see, it's a jug. It goes through the air and it can take a lot of battering through that because it's air-cooled. if you get hit on any of your radiator piping to cool down your engine and you get hit there, it's game over. With the P47 you can lose a load of cylinders. But I'm really sorry, and I've gone on a tangent. So right, they aircraft are kind of themed. Okay, let's roll back, and I'm really sorry about that, Alex Black. I kind of went on one. But yes, they are themed. So the Tornado, when that came, that was a joint product. They decided to keep the theme for wind phenomenon, so they called it the Typhoon. Okay, World War II, again the same theme. We also have the Warwick, the Windsor. Where am I going with this? Yeah, the Warwick, Windsor, the Wellington, the Sterling, any other names as well, and any others, any other ones, any other themes. We did this the other day. Things that sting: the Hornet, the de Havilland Hornet, the de Havilland Mosquito. Things that sting as well. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Things like that. So they do have themes as well. So do remember that. So also the Short Sterling, the Short Sunderland. They seem to have a bit of a theme going on. So, and then there was another one. Let me just bring this up a minute. Do I have it in there? I might have it in the book. I'm gonna have a look if I got it in this book. One second. Hang on. Give me one tick. Let me just check my book. Yeah, so they kind of go with themes. I'm gonna pick this book up, and then here's a remarkable one for all of you. The B-25 Mitchell. It was named to honour Major General William Billy Mitchell, a pioneering US officer, Army officer, who literally proposed by North American aviation the name that was recognised for his efforts to prove his effectiveness. If I remember correctly, I think it's a unique one. I think he's the only person that an aircraft does, no, the only plane that's been named for a person, I think. Pretty sure it is, and that's the B-25 Mitchell. I wonder if I've got let me have a look. I might have one in here, in this other book I've got here. No worries. But, and let's have a look. Might have one in here. Let's go page 37. Oh, I know where I've got one. I know where I can find it. It's in my other book, but I'll leave it at that anyway. Yeah, so that's that one there. So there we go. Hope that answered your questions. So they kind of have themes. All right, the Eagle. You've got Eagle, Fighting Falcon, and you've also got a Raptor, which is a bird of prey, right? So there you go. And we had this funny discussion the other day, didn't we, about funny names as well for aircraft. Yes, absolutely. So Rolls-Royce engines are indeed named after rivers. Very good. The Ardeux was I think that was one in France though. We got the Trent as well, Avon. Yeah, so there are themes. It's really cool. Me and Perry were trying to work out about the Ardeux engine, but it's I think that's a river in France. And then you got and Harrier, good one. Yep, really good. Thank you for reminding me that one. Right, let's have a look. Christopher Carr, Nikos, are you any closer to visiting Normandy? That would be a good stream. Yeah, leave it with me. Maybe. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to have a look, see if you've got any other questions. I'm going backwards, so a bit sorry about that. Let's have a look. I'm just scrolling down through your questions. See if I've got yeah, Lancaster, Bristol, exactly. Halifax, it's all coming to me now. Manchester as well, yep, don't forget that. Let's have a look here. I've actually got an ME262. Let's have a look. Just trying to see if we've got... Yeah, Lightning, that's another good one. Let's have a look. Yeah, Lightning, very, very good. Let's see. John Minter, good question. Good question there. John, has Ted got any flights planned for 2026? That's a good question. There's no... they are quite sporadic. They're kind of on the hop, some of Ted's flights, although he would love to... he would love to do it. Oh, that is a good one. Alex Blackcat, that is a good one. Which company has made the most military aircraft, as in each type, right? Oh, that is a good one. That is... That... I thought I can hear a startup. That is a very, very good question. That is awesome. Let me have a little think, because the problem here is a lot of these companies amalgamated into one. They did like the Vickers Armstrong, you know, Vickers Supermarine. Oh gosh, that is a good one. That's got me. That has literally got me. That's good. I like that question very much. So sorry about that, it's freezing out here. Really good question, Nat. I'm just trying to think. Wow. Well, Eurofighter has made one aircraft. I can hear an F-15 start up in the background, so you never know. But I haven't got my radio or anything on me, so it's a very good question, because you see, if you go back in time, you got the Short brothers that made a lot of aircraft. The S-20, they're making aircraft for the Navy, the Royal Air Force. A very, very good question. Yakovlev as well, they made a lot of aircraft as well. The Yakovlev, the Yak, and all sorts, they made quite a lot. Tupolev as well. I think France, in the early stages of the First World War, Newport, Bruget, they made a lot of aircraft as well. So it's a very good Lockheed as well. The Electra Junior. I'm just trying to go back in time of aircraft that have made. God, that's a very good one. Very good question. I may have to have a little bit of a dig on that one and have a look. Very good. Good question. I like that. See how we're all coming together. Some great questions. Just trying to think. Northrop Grumman maybe as well. Curtis was doing a lot of aircraft as well. But yeah. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Very, very good. I love that question. I'm very happy that you said that. Let's have a look. Liam Ward, Nikos, what is your favourite air show that you attend? No, I haven't answered that one. Not air show. Oh, again, it's going to be quite diplomatic. I love them all. You can go to Old Buckingham. You can go to Shuttleworth as well. I love Shuttleworth because of the tight turn. It's such a tight aerodrome that they have to turn in. It's actually quite amazing. I love that. Riyadh is yeah, you can't not miss that. Cosford, I love that because, well, one, I'm going to be the official broadcaster again, so that is going to be amazing. If you want to see an ME262, let me go and get it for you. Give me a sec. 1 second. Did someone mention a 262? Battle damage on it, but nevertheless, I shall show you it. For those that wanted to see the ME262, unfortunately, it's got a bit of a battle damage on it. Let's have a look at her. Here she is. Our 262. There we go, there's our ME262. Look at that. See, the German engineers This did have a nickname as well. It's called the Schwalbe, which in German, sorry Gerd if I pronounced that wrong, called the Swallow in the fighter versions. There was also the Stormbird, the Sturmvogel in the fighter bomber versions. But the German engineering, they were quick to to develop the design into the swept wing, which they realized would actually give you more speed. They built around 1,400 of these as well, and the first flight, by the way, was 18th of April 1941. Actually had a piston engine, the Junkers Jumo 210s, and on 18th of July 1942, that's when they used the jet engines, the Junkers Jumo 004s. For those that don't know the history with its first flight, actually had a piston engine on the first ever flight of it. Crew of 1, length at 10.6 meters, that's 34 feet and 9 inches. Had a wingspan of 12.6 meters, that's 41 feet and 4 inches. And yeah, powered by 2 Junkers Jumo 004s, axial float turbojet engine. I mean, World War II, and we're talking turbojet engines. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? You know, just shy of 2,000 pounds of thrust each. It could do 560 miles per hour. It was going to be a bit of a problem and a bit of a headache. It entered too late, and it was certainly going to be a bit of a threat. And it was on the 19th of April 1944 that Epro Bundeskommando 262 was formed at Lechfeld, just south of Augsburg. And yeah, there we go. And encountered I believe on the 26th of July 1944, Lieutenant Alfred Schreiber, while flying over Munich with the 262, encountered a Mosquito, a reconnaissance aircraft of 540 Squadron. Schreiber attempted to shoot down the unarmed Mosquito, though the pilot Wall, he evaded Schreiber's 3 attack runs to land safely. And that's the thing, the Mosquito, you know, could do what, 420 miles per hour, and against this, so it just shows how, you know, effective the Mosquito's reconnaissance unarmed was. Bit of an unfair match, but it got away. But speaking of which, and speaking of those engines, by the way, for those that know me as well, quite well, will also know that I do have a bit of a soft spot for a particular aircraft that it's quite controversial, very controversial. Why is it controversial? It's controversial because of the fact that it didn't enter service, and had it enter service, don't know if it would have won the war, but what it would have developed into could have been a bit of a problem for Europe and America. It was indeed the Horten 229. I love that. I love that. I think they made a total of 3. The first one was a glider. Okay, the first ever one that they built, the Horten 229, it was a flying wing, literally. The second one, they put a jet engine in it, but that on its flights crashed and killed the pilot. I think the pilot perished, sadly. And the third one was incomplete. It had the main, shall we call it, the fuselage with the engines on top. I'm going to do a whole video on it. I'm going to do a whole video on the Horten 229. Watch this space. Again, love going on a tangent and just going on one. It's all that tea, isn't it? But there you go. Someone mentioned the 262, so I thought I'd show you it. Let's have a look at what else we got. Let's have a look. Okay, Aaron Matthew. Hey Nikos, is there any plane that you've seen for the first time and just thought, wow, amazing? There is probably a few. There is, and that brings back memories of when I was about 10, 9, and probably less. I'm trying to remember how old I was. I must have been about that young lad's age, about 8, with respect, sorry kiddo. 8 years old, I think. Weston-super-Mare Air Festival, and it was indeed the Avro Vulcan. I will never forget that, going across the Grand Pier, the Western Pier, and the way it did that wing over, which I thought was a handbrake turn, but I don't know, they don't really have handbrakes, but you know, as a kid, everything's possible, do you know what I mean? So it was like, it did that wing over like it normally did, XH558, oh my gosh, it was amazing. Speaking of which, just thinking, Boeing, they made a lot of aircraft, by the way. Boeing, just as a thought. Maybe Boeing. Yeah, Boeing Fortress, Super Fortress. I'm gonna go Boeing. I'm just thinking Boeing. Boeing made a lot of aircraft, and they still do make a lot of aircraft. Maybe Boeing. Anyway, let's have a look here now. Let's have a quick scroll, because I have to go backwards. Actually, no, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go right down to the top as much as it will let me. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here now. What is your favourite? Spitfire Ace 2003. What is your favourite warbird, Nikos? P-47 Thunderbolt. Let's have a look. But yeah, thanks as well. If you do ask me a question, do answer for your own as well. What you know, for example, what's your favourite air show? Then what's yours as well? Let's have a look. Cessna. They've made a few. Wheelchair laser tag. Why are there so many airfields on the east coast of UK? Simple as that. You have to go back to the First World War. It was all to do with the Zeppelin raids, first of all. Okay, England, you know, that part of England were getting attacked from the the Zeppelins, basically. Okay, so you're going to need some sort of defence. We had our sound mirrors as well at one point, as well in the early sort of mid-20s as well, to start defending. But I know that's after the First World War. But if we roll that back, you started to get... There was also, to add to those airfields, which I will get to your answer, is the fact that there was a lot of defensive landing grounds and night grounds, and also advanced landing grounds as well, just strips of grass designated for night fighters. And Norfolk and Suffolk thrive in World War I airfields. Okay, so there had to be some form of defence. In fact, the Wash was used as a corridor by the by Germany to attack through, and they did through the Second World War. They'll use it as a corridor, a nice, easy landscape or seascape to cut through. So why is that? Okay, you've got to think about where the attacks are coming from. The reason for that is simple. It's the fact that is literally where the attacks were going to come from. So that's why you had a lot of defensive airfields, fighter command, thriving in fighter command, lots of fighter groups. The most west ever, or the most west fighter station and northwest fighter station for the US Army Air Force was indeed King's Cliff. But there has to be one of them's going to be the most west, right? Most northwest. Anyway, which the reason why I say that is because if you're going to go in escort bombers, you're going to use all your fuel just to get across over to the sea. So the reason for that is as simple as that, is defense and having your bombers a little bit further away from the sea. You didn't want them getting obliterated. You kind of need to defend them. So you got more and more, and many airfields were actually having satellite stations as well. So it was an ongoing thing. So Mildenhall, built in 34, needed a satellite station. They built Lakenheath, they built Tuddenham, they built Newmarket Heath, so on and so on and so on and so on. And the problem is, as Germany gained ground and took France, it was even worse. So they had to build more airfields. You had to have airfields to protect towns and cities. So we have lots of towns and cities. We've got Cambridge, we've got London, you know, and lots of stations emerged, and that's why you don't really get bomber stations really close to the sea, although there will be one, you know, there's going to be one closer. But you look at Lincolnshire, the second largest county in England, had about 48 military airfields. Just to give you the numbers, 440, 450 odd RAF and 160 United States Army Air Forces. So the reason is they grew and grew and grew, okay, especially as the United States Army Air Forces started to arrive as well. And between 43 and 44, especially 44, they were in the thick of it. They were coming over through Echelon, started to arrive in 42. But they didn't just come up with random ideas and just go, yeah, let's go for it. It was months and months of training. I did a wonderful picture of my on the Teducation, but it was literally to form a defence as well. So Fighter Command were popping up stations. They're a lot easier to do. They're grass. But the other problem is, being such a wet country, which have had about 53 days consecutive amount of rain, is choosing where to have your station. That's the other thing as well. I was going to say, you need to think about where are you going to have an airfield. It needed somewhere to be reasonably flat, no obstructions, not necessarily right, you know, completely flat with no hills. There are stations that are built at higher elevation, but they were popping up more and more as Germany were increasing and taking over the rest of Europe. They needed more and more, because let's face it, an airfield can only hold so many aircraft. You can only take off so many aircraft in one airfield. That's why you had so many satellite stations. To give you an idea, Lincolnshire had about an average of about 7 miles, no further on average than its next airfield. So one airfield was never more than 7 miles apart from another. So squadrons increased, aircraft started to be manufactured eventually quite quickly, you know, and the arrival of the United States Army Air Forces, that made another 160 airfields, some dedicated, some built for them as well. So more and more came as well. So there you go. So that's an answer literally is defense and to deliver. And of course you needed to be close as well. See, this is the thing, you needed to be quite close to where you needed to be, because you're going to use fuel just to get over your own country, if that makes sense. So if you're quite deep into your own country and you're going to go over to do the Normandy campaign, I mean, think about it. Coningsby, we speak about that quite a lot, you know, where we speak about 97 Squadron being the first casualties of D-Day. Those Lancasters would have had to use all that fuel just to get over the coast, to get over to Normandy, etc. Think of Wellington, the Augsburg raid in 1942, April. You know, travelling from there, all that fuel used. There was no air-to-air refuelling then. All that fuel used just to get over the sea, over France, and then all the way to Augsburg. It's amazing, isn't it? But then you couldn't have them close. Those bomber airfields, we didn't really want them close to where they would be attacked. That's why a lot of the bomber airfields are a little bit more further back. But our fighter ones, they're a lot closer to the sea, because you want to engage in your enemy. And then they started to be scattered about along the coast. Ibsley, for one, where the 48th found themselves as well. Lots of... there we go. So yeah, it's an evolution thing as well. Right, let's have a look what else we got here now. Let's have a look. Dieter Nikos, I love the Lost Airfields episodes. How many military airfields bases are there in the UK disbanded, included approximately? Well, there we go. So, okay, so if we take the number 600, take away the ones that are active, and take away the ones that are not housing estates, sadly, grudgingly biting my tongue, there's not many left. In fact, time is running out for them, so I'm gonna do my best. Some of them, of course, are on, actually a lot of them are on private land, a lot of them. The reason for that is the way they obtained the land through the Defence Act. The government were able to take, in some ways, or purchase land, but it was given back after. In fact, I do come across, I think it was Grafton Underwood, I think was given back to the same family in the end, if I remember that one. I forgot, I haven't done that one for a while. But yes, that's why a lot of it is on private land, and it's really inaccessible unless you can get permission, which I've done before. That's no problem. But the other problem is trying to find the landowner. That you're gonna have to be extremely lucky, or know someone that knows that person. So yeah, there are quite a few still, but it's getting access to them. Someone watch on, great question. Which aircraft would you most like to add to the list of aircraft streamed on the channel? You are allowed. Okay. Okay, I got you. Which aircraft would you like to add to the list? You are allowed to use the Nikos and Ted's time machine. Okay, so one that's flying today, one that I'd like to see, would be the A10. I've not added that one to the list. I know we'd be all excited to see an A10. I haven't. So one that's still flying. I'm going to give you two. One that's still flying, I'm going to give you two. So that'll be an A10, and it is flying, and I'd love to see that. The other aircraft I'd love, if I had a time machine, can I cheat and give you two? Okay, one, I'd like to go back to see the Canberra. I know it wasn't that long ago, but I would have loved to have seen that. Would have loved to have seen the Canberra fly. I never got to see that. It is an absolute masterpiece. 13th of May 1949, first flight. I know it was Friday the 13th. I remember that because Beaumont was like, it's Friday the 13th, but it's sunny. Let's do it. Yeah, Friday the 13th, 1949. I can't remember if it was April or May. It's got me now. I'll go May. Final answer. Right. What else? Where were we? Oh yeah, and the other one. I would have loved to have seen that Horten 229. I would have loved to have gone back just to see it and go, yeah, don't make that, because it's going to become a bit of a problem. So yeah, I would have loved to do that on Nichols and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Good questions, man. Loving it. Let's have a look. Right, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I would love to have gone to see that. Let's have a look. Alan Bowen, why free ship? Well, the thing is, you got to look at history. They were making ships at the end of the day. There were ports for ships. Okay, so we had airships, we had the air balloons. We started off with balloons. It was a type of ship. You know, you got to remember that aviation itself came a bit late, 20th century. So we're still using that follow-up. That's why they're called ships. It's as simple as that. It's an airship. They go to an airport. You know, there you go. It's as simple as that. It's a historical thing, and I like it, and I'll stick to it and keep. See, history should not be forgotten, you know. And if it's a historical word, you know, there's no need to go all political on it. Just leave it alone. Just keep using it. You know, there's no offence. It's an airship, so we call it ship for short. All right. I'm glad I said it in a little bit slower. I nearly sounded a bit emotional. I nearly got timed out myself. But yeah, you had airships. Okay, they were the Hindenburg style balloons and all that grandeur that they were, you know, but they weren't very good with helium because they were. But anyway, but yeah, they were a type of ship. They were an airship, okay, like a spaceship. So, you know, it's a ship into space. It's a ship. You ship stuff. You send it. You know, when they say shipment, when you send stuff, it's not always on a boat, is it? So yeah, it's a historical thing, an airship. And that's how it developed into a formation of ships, fleets, and then it turned into the planes because we had flying boats, don't forget as well. Flying boats were very, very common, and it just developed from there. And that's why. There we go. What else we got? Old aircraft. So Lord Denver 93, Nicholas, why is the RAF reusing old aircraft names, and why have they not used Hurricane or Spitfire? Okay, very good question. One could only guess. I'm not an official spokesperson for the Royal Air Force. Ted might be. Ted might be able to answer that. I think it's. We spoke about this. My own conclusion would be themed. It's a themed thing. You know, Tempest. Is it in order? We had the Typhoon. I'm sure it was the Tempest. I'm just trying to go back. We had Tornado, Typhoon, and Tempest. So I guess the Hurricane was before. Yeah, okay, I'll see where you're going with that. I guess it's a choice thing. It's a voting thing. I think. I got a funny feeling. Did they vote on the Typhoon? Did they? I'm trying to. Yeah, because there was. For those that know, I won't mention it on the stream. But for those that know, there was another name, but they couldn't use it. Do some research on that one. Yeah, do some research. There was another name for the Eurofighter. In fact, I think there wasn't that they were going to use that instead of the Spitfire. I think Spitfire came at a choice of what it could do. It was spitting fire, etc. But so why did they reuse names? Well. You got Lightning, Lightning 2, Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt 2. I guess they just like the name. I guess it stays. I mean, there's only so many names that you can use, I guess, but it's themed at the end of the day, and you got to keep that theme going. There's only so many weather conditions that you can use. There's only so many birds. I mean, you know, the Boeing owl doesn't quite have that. You know, maybe as a night fighter, the owl, or I mean, there was an albatross. There was a plane called an albatross as well. I guess it's themed. I mean, there was so many, and also I guess maybe a respect thing as well. Maybe they don't want to, like, you know, they want to keep that legendary aircraft as it was. Because can you? I mean, I'll tell you what. Here's my own other thing. Sorry if you own this vehicle, and I'm really sorry. I really do think Ford should have left Capri as it was. As a kid, for me, it was, you know, the man you looked up to, you know, as an idol. You know, it's like I had a we had a customer called Ian. He used to come from Wales. I wanted to be just like him when I was a kid. You know, tall, which I didn't get any taller. You know, moustache, blonde lady in the you know, in the passenger seat, which I have. You know, he was like the idol. You know, that everyone wanted to have a Ford Capri, the 3-litre S, and then they bring out a Capri again. No, no, just no. If you're going to bring out, so if they did that to the Spitfire, I think there'll be a lot of upset people. I think, you know, with all the, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Do you know what I mean? It's just leave it alone. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look here now. Let's have a look. But thanks for your questions. We've got another 20 minutes before we dash. Unfortunately, I just got this feeling it's you know, when you get, I mean, they would have started by now, unfortunately. But there you go, there now. Let's have a look. I'm just scrolling for your. Oh, is it? No. We may have... Where is it? We may have an aircraft. Another one. I'll see what I can do on here. I'll see what we can do. Right. Let's have a look. What else we got here? So I'm just scrolling through your questions. Thank you very much. It was May. Yay! Got it right. Just trying to find it. And if you got any other questions about history, anything, let's have a look. I'm just trying to scroll through your questions here. Thank you very much, Righty. 100%. Thanks a lot, Bobby, Captain A, Margot, Righty, Mayor Marshy, Daniel Roberts, Flying Duke. Thanks a lot for tuning in as well. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. So I got a few thumbs up for the Capri. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad people with me on that. It's just, and I think, you know, when you're going to choose an aircraft name, I think you do need to just be a little bit mindful. And like I said, I think the Ford Capri was a perfect example. But there we go. Let's have a look. What else? Just trying to see if you got any other questions. Let's have a look what else we got. Liam Ward, have I visited Vulcan XL462? No, I haven't been to Southend Airport. Maybe it's time for me to... I know they have open days. I think one of our friends here does that as well, goes to that, or certainly can hear it. Let's have a look. But thank you so much, all of you who have who have taken part in this. Let's have a look. But yeah, thanks very much everyone for tuning in, and sadly it just doesn't look like it's going to be a day, but at least we've got a C130, eh? Anything on markings, World War II markings, anything on the ILS, if you want me to talk about the ILS, ADSB while we're still here, the windsock. What else? Dave's Burgers, they come from the butchers. What else we got? The localizer, Airfield runway numbers, although I did a dedicated live for that. Should have done a TEDucation, but it's a bit nasty out here. It's not very nice today, which is fine. We'll roll into the weekend, but it's the least I can do. Get you a C130. I knew it wasn't going to be very busy, but there we go, unfortunately. But like I said, if you've got any questions about how things work before we go, let me know, and we can ride out, go into the weekend. There's our catwalk, as we call it. So catwalk, it is a Ted Coningsby vocab. If you heard it anywhere else, well, you've got to set the standard somewhere, do you know what I mean? But there we go. I like it. And then on this side we call it the Warrior Walk. You know, it's from TCS when it's the Warrior Walk, named after the Lakenheath warrior who was same to you, who was dug up. He was 5'10" and over 1600 years old. Well, after they found him. Norwich Aviation Museum, no, haven't done that one, Martin. I'll come back to that one in a moment. Andrew Mackenzie, we always go in September, so it's we'll be there again in September. Every year September, think it's sort of like the second week, but just watch this space and we'll do that for you. Someone's mentioned, who was it, about the red and white building. So red and white means like a warning pattern. So it's like a hazard, please don't crash into that instrument, although it does remind me of KFC on some of them. What are the red and white buildings along the runway? Yeah, literally it's a highlight. It's a, whoa, what's this? It's an instrument. So if you want to know what they actually are, this is the BAK, B-A-K, all right? So that's the barrier arrestor kit. In there is a reel that's tensing a cable, basically. It's the hydraulic system that tenses the cable. You can just about see the cable there. There you go. It's got these little dumbbells on there, little grommets, like for weight. So there's two either side. There are two cables. So Lakenheath's got 4 cables in total, 2 here and 2 down the other end. And the point of those little dumbbells, or whatever you want to call them, weights, is just so it doesn't sort of like, you know, droop everywhere. It keeps it a little bit tall. So these boxes are where the cable is tensed into. All right, this box here behind the lorry behind the tractor, that's where the ILS, this is the glide slope antenna. So in there you've got all the, I guess it's the electrics and stuff for it. Okay, so each box has its actually, is it? Yeah, each box has its purpose in red and white, so you don't damage it, you know, and you know, bump into it. So good question there, nice one. And over here again, another, I mean, that's the localizer there. This does your lateral for your ILS, so just to keep you on the center line, sending frequencies. And I'm going to only assume that will be, you know, a generator for it or electrics for it. So things that are around that are, you know, that are an instrument are painted red and white, so you don't, you know, so you know there's a warning, so you can see it. All right, what else we got here now? Silver Trig, how you doing, man? Is there any particular favourite aircraft museum you've been to? So many good ones in the UK to learn from and admire. Oh, do you know what? The Moravia one near Kinloss, that's amazing. I did like that one, Moravia. That's really nice. I know it's quite far away, but that's quite. They're all nice. They all have, you know, they all have their history. There's so many to mention. Yeah, you are right. There's so many to mention. I do like the Moravia one. That's a nice one. That's cool. I like that one. But I like them all. They're all good. Go and visit them all because they rely on you, literally yourselves, to keep them going. And without them, history will not remain. And that's the thing, and it's nice to have these museums. So I don't want to favour one over another because they're all important. We know how important East Kirkby is at the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre. You know how important that is, and in fact, you know, and there is a reward with that and supporting Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre is the fact that we will have an end product having a third Lancaster flying, which is amazing. Let's have a look. What else we got here now? Oh, Fleet Air Arm Museum, by the way. That's a good one. That's awesome. By the way, I'll probably be going to it. Probably be going to that soon. And I do apologise if I've missed your questions. Air Godzilla, will you be doing an airfield history on Poddington? Maybe. I need to have a look at that. So we'll need to have a look at that. Right, just really quickly. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, give me 1 second, Lady Shen Teddy Bears. I'm going to get Teddy to do a guards march for you. Give me one moment. Right, just gonna get Ted on the old just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna blow the old hoot. Oh, I'm gonna blow the old garden. Oh. There's our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. If you've got any questions for myself and Ted, so thank you very much. Even though we haven't really had a lot of movement, well, we've had the one high five and a paw pump for Babzar. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Ted Coningsby memberships. Guards march to you. Paul M. Hennings, thanks a lot for your 30 months membership. Simply amazing. Best military aviation channel, you know it is. Paul M. Hennings, high five. Guards march, thank you for gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. It's so kind as well. Alan Stretton, thanks a lot for your 22 months membership. Oi oi, morning all. Wolfman, thank you very much. Member for 36 months. Congratulations on your 3-year milestone. Guards march. Who's put please like, share and subscribe. Margot, thanks a lot for your super. Aspen, thank you very much for your super as well. Thank you very much. Gary Lockton, thanks a lot for your super as well. Thank you so much. Guards march as well. Ellie J Approach with 32 months membership. Big shout out to all the Teddians. Without you, the channel wouldn't be possible. Guards march. Fiona, high five. Thank you for joining the Ted Coningsby squadron. Guards march. Non-league James Boyle, love it all. Keep up the amazing work. Guards march. Thank you so much. Dave Forrester, thanks a lot for upgrading to TCS Posh Officers. Ginger Bailey, thank you very much for the super. Sharon Chapman, 17 months membership. Thank you so much. Happy Friday, TCS. Please send Lemsip. Oh, bless. Get well soon. Bear hug. And again, before I continue, if you've got any questions about any of the aircraft, the models that I put on the show, if you want to know not about the model but about the type of aircraft, what it does, if you've got any itching questions about, I don't know, the blisks, how the F-35B hovers, anything like that you've forgot to ask during the show, or I've missed it because I haven't seen it because I've been busy shouting my head off at planes and screaming with excitement. Margot, Guards march. Have a good break. Ted, Nicholson, Claire Bear, thank you very much. MWB Aquatics, thanks a lot for joining the Ted Coningsby's Posh Officers Club. High five. MWB Aquatics as well. Oi oi, keep up the great work, Nikos and Ted. Quality content keeps us going. Have a great weekend. Hans Olav Mork, thank you very much for your 23 months membership. MHZ and NHT Airport, thumbs up to you. Bobby, thank you very much for the super. Guards march. MWB Aquatics, Guards march as well to you. Thank you very much for the super. Bobby, thanks a lot as well for the super. Thanks for all great content this week. Hope to catch you at an airbase for a cuppa soon. Thank you very much. MWB Aquatics, Guards march as well. Guards march, we good. Is the F-15 nearby, or is it still quite a...
Geneva. That's where they've gone to the main road. It's a tank.
Gotcha. Just gonna have a look. Gonna try and get some sort of...
I reckon ETA will probably be about an hour. At least.
Oh well. MWB Aquatics, high five and a Guards march to you. Thank you very much for gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. Paul Watts, high five. Oh yeah, thank you so much for joining our Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron. Don't forget to sign up for your Fighter Squadron patch for that. Thanks a lot to Paul Watts for joining that. Thank you. Wib74, thank you very much for your 20 months membership. Fantastic 20 months on this amazing channel. Thank you all for making it such a great place to watch, chat and learn. You're welcome. Dieter, thanks a lot for your super. Thanks TCS for this week, and thank you as well. Hope you're well. Ted, hang on, mate. Derek, no problem, thanks for tuning in. Silver Trick, Dr. Soda, Reese Maroney, Chris Jewis, thank you very much. LaserTech02, thank you very much. Alex Raven, thank you as well. Just scrolling for you. If you've got any questions before we finish up for the day, let us know in the comments. Carlos as well. You've enjoyed our little Q&A. If you've got any other questions, feel free to ask about the discrete aircraft. Some good questions today, very good. So thank you very much for asking the. Yeah, DR. Yeah, we are going on holiday next week, and we can't wait. I know. So we've got our annual break next week, so can't wait for that. So, ladies, gents, teddy bears, I think we are done. Perry, how you doing as well? Dieter, that's a good question. Are RAF pilots more preferred to fly a Typhoon or an F-35? They're streamed to it. So basically, they will choose pretty much for you, a bit like what they do in the US Air Force. You can request, but you're going to need to really, you know, at the end, and they don't like changing platforms either. So a Typhoon pilot won't be necessarily just going onto an F-35B. You've got to think of all that work put in place, all the OCU at 29 Squadron, for example. You know, it's not the, you know, it's something that they don't really do. That's why you often find that they will stay with one aircraft. Right, what else we got? Right, we'll take one more question. Let's have a look. See what we got there now. Let's have a look. I've got a question here from Mark Bell. Was the Vickers Wellesley named after the Duke of Wellington? Do you know what? I believe it was. I believe it was the Vickers Wellesley. But I'll even give you, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an extra bonus question. A bonus answer, sorry. But yeah, it was named after Arthur Wellesley. The first Duke of Wellington, which they made a Wellington bomber as well. However, any Vickers aircraft beginning with W actually had the geodetic airframe. I know it's you know, the lattice. I know there are. It's sometimes called geodesic, but Sir Barnes Wallis liked to have called it. Was calling it geodetic. Now. Here we go. So I think we're pretty much done then, Teddy. Right, ladies, gents, teddy bears, thank you so much for tuning in today. Before we go, we've got one more topic. Ted's gonna just have a little I think we've got one more touch. There's a load of questions coming in now. Do we leave them, Ted? Dave Earl, good question. How many Mosquito squadrons were there? Oh, good question. I know they made 7,781 around about, so I'd say about 20. I think it was around about 20. It was 105. I'm going to try and count them on my finger. 105, 139, and you've also got the Pathfinder forces. 109, 128, 162, 139, 142, 692, 627, 608, 571 if I haven't mentioned that one already, and then probably 21 if you count 633 Squadron as well, if you know what I mean. Those that know what I'm talking about there. So I think around 20. 115 Squadron as well. Oh gosh, you really got me there. You really got me. You really got me. So look, 115. Oh gosh, I think probably more, you know, more than 20. I'm just trying to count them. I'm trying to do the maths. Just trying to see if my book has got them. Me book. Have a look at me book. I mean, hang on a minute. Just trying to think if any of them were. Oh gosh, I mean, let's face it. I think just trying to. I mean, they were used with other countries as well. So RAF, I'm going to go with about 20. I'm going to go with about 20. I think. I may be wrong on that. I'm just trying to count them up. Alan Q, thank you very much. Guards March. Thanks a lot for the supers as well. Strubrick as well, thanks a lot for your 31 months membership. Guards March. Wibs, thanks a lot for your 20-month membership as well. Fantastic 20 months on this amazing channel. Thank you for making it such a great place to watch. And yeah, thank you. Ted, what's that, mate? Okay, so for those that know have heard the story about how Ted and I began. It happened thanks to COVID, but I'm going to tell you something a little bit more. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more, because obviously we didn't stream or anything. We weren't doing any live streams or anything like that. But I remember one day doing my little videos and stuff like this. I was just popping them on Facebook and stuff. So the YouTube channel as a aviation genre didn't really excel or really I didn't really pioneer it. No, that's the wrong word. I didn't really progress into sticking with a genre, because there was Ted at a waterfall, Ted at a phone box, Ted at a pub. There wasn't really a genre. That's probably, I wasn't really taking it on, because obviously I was doing wedding photography and things like this. And then I was posting little videos. Ted got his flight. I mean, that was amazing. That kind of gave me the gave me an idea for maybe having a military channel, but not the live stream. The live streams actually came from, there was a bit of an inspiration. And I remember one day someone commented on Ted and said, "Oh, he looks like someone that is very popular in the aviation world." In fact, for me, an inspiration, very, someone that's pioneered live streaming as far as I'm concerned, and an absolute legendary character. And someone said, "Ted looks a bit like Jerry from Big Jets." Now, Ted is good looking, all right, so it is a very good compliment to both. Ladies, gents, and teddy bears, Ted and I a few days ago found out that the legend that is Jerry Dyer from Big Jets wasn't very well. In fact, Jilly is very distressed and they're going through a really, really bad time. There has been some good news as well today that I've... so I do follow Jerry, I do watch it. He's very entertaining and I do watch it and I think it's great. And not being funny, you know, certainly played a major part to myself and Ted for being innovation, you know, inspiring for, you know, taking this on as well. And I don't like to hear when fellow broadcasters are going through health problems. And, you know, when I found out, I was very, very sad, and Ted and I were very, very sad about it. And there's been some bad news, but there is some good news that he is pulling through. And you know, there was a routine. I won't go into all the details because it's not my place to give you all that information. But what I can tell you, Jerry, I know you're watching, man. I know you're a big fan of the Ted Coningsby channel. Come on, you're a big fan of the show. Don't tell me you don't watch our channel. Listen, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us at the Ted Coningsby channel, we would love to wish Jerry from Big Jet TV an absolutely spot on recovery, and we need to see you back. We need to see you go easy, because you're just a legend, mate. And I mean that, and Ted means that, and you've inspired us both. Look where we are, taking on the military. I'll rephrase that: taking on the military aviation side of things. Oh dear, that wind and weather. But Jerry, I know if you're watching, mate, and Jilly, hang in there as well, because that has got to be a really stressful time. So from aviation streamer to another, from an aviation bear, just want to wish you a happy recovery, man. So we're gonna finish up on this day, on a very slow day here at RAF Lakenheath. So, ladies and teddy bears, my name's Nikos. I've been your cameraman, historian and commentator at the Ted Coningsby channel. This is Squadron Leader Ted Coningsby, and I hope you've enjoyed this week, because it's been a cracker. It's led me to all sorts of places with zero sleep, and we're still going. Even 2 streams in one day, even up to midnight. So it gives me great pleasure to say what a wonderful week, and Ted and I would like to wish everyone happy health, by the way. We always like to see you all doing well. So for the last time for today, it is see you soon, wish you well. It's the last time for the week, right? I don't think we're coming back over the weekend, are we, Ted? No, mate. All right, take care, everyone. See ya. Oh yeah, ladies, sheds and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel membership. I'm Nikos, I'm your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. Just want to say a massive thank you to all our members. Guns up, and oh yeah. Take it away, Ted. Ladies, sheds and teddy bears, we want to say a massive thank you to all of our subscribers for getting us to where we are today. We have gone all over the country, from as far as Lossiemouth to Bryce Norton, and military areas such as air weapons ranges, low flying areas, heritage centres and special flights for TED 2. We cannot do this without your support, and your support will be rewarded. You can now join the Ted Coningsby Squadron and help fund the channel to get us around the country and provide us with the funds for equipment to bring you better content too. We have 3 levels of membership to suit everyone. With your membership, you'll get access to members-only videos, photos, posts, unlock special Ted Coningsby YouTube emojis and loyalty badges, as well as being able to access our exclusive members-only Discord server. All membership levels reward you with discounts to our online store. Our top level Fighter Squadron was inspired by many of our fans who supported the channel massively. This is more of a personal experience with me and Ted, giving you exclusive live streams and content from behind the scenes photos, special info and updates, as well as a free Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron patch for joining. Whichever membership level suits you, we want to say a massive thank you for choosing to join the Ted Coningsby Squadron. Ah, yeah.